Hello ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be taking a look at the Darkshade Caverns, level range 20 to 23. This dungeon has 3 major bosses and 3 mini bosses. Most of the dungeon's pretty straightforward. You could really do this dungeon without a tank if needed. This first pull here has a fair amount of range in it. The second pull here can be rather large because there's a group to the right there that you see when we pulled. If you could pull the middle and the left side without pulling the right hand side, it'll make it a little easier for you. The main thing is focus on the healers, take them out first, take and spank the trash. The second group here has 2 healers in it, so you probably want to focus on them first. We just DPS'd everything down for the most part. Coming up with on these comm workers, it's best just to take them out first, because you're going to end up pulling them all anyway, so just go ahead and hit them right off the bat. This group here also 2 healers, and you have the boss, Head Shepherd Nileron. I'm not sure how you pronounce her name. She's pretty straightforward. Nileron casts a flame attack projectile which deals flame damage to anyone caught in it. So best just not to bunch up. Pretty easy boss. She has a really small health pool, and compensate for that, she heals herself also. As you can see, we had no problem going through it. Most of these pools in this dungeon, from what I've noticed, have 1 or 2 healers in them. None of it should be any type of problem. Again, this pool here at the bottom, 2 healers in it. Take out healers first. Take and spank the rest of it. Pretty easy pulls. And here we have this should be Foreman Lutheran. You do have to kind of pay attention on this one because he has a really high damage and AoE attack. So you definitely don't want to get caught standing in that. He'll cast pools of poison on the ground. Just double tap, get out of the way of him. The main thing to look out for is this AoE attack again. It's basically an all radius around him and it does a lot of damage. As you can see there. So you definitely want to get out of range of that. Don't stand in the acid. Periodically he runs to different areas of the room. He'll lift the staff up in the air and he'll summon 6 Corona workers. Each one of them got 341 health. Just AoE him down. Pretty straightforward there. As a healer, it's a pretty easy dungeon. Just as long as your tanks and DPS stay out of the AoE circles, it's all pretty straightforward. For me, I use my ultimate to give me some time to get some mana back. We ended up wiping on him this first time, and the second time we didn't have any problem taking them down. It was just a matter of getting everybody not to stand in the AoE. Everybody's gathering up here just to run down Foreman Lutheran's boss mechanics again. He'll cast poison on the ground. Don't stand in it if you don't have to. Very small amount of time to get out of it. The main thing, watch out for his AoE attack that goes around him. It's extremely high damage, so if you see that red circle pop underneath him, you need to double tap, get out of the way as soon as possible. He also runs to different areas, and he'll raise his staff up, and he'll summon up 3 commas. Each one of them have 341 health. Just gather them up, AoE them down. Simple. Don't stand in AoE, and you'll have no problem doing this boss. The Foreman's got about 16,060 health, I believe. So he's probably one of the harder bosses out of this group.
I heard the Viriansu attacked Muthna because the monks were using some sort of Daedric artifact. By the Vec, no! You'll pay for this, Sadri!
for this through here, you're just gonna gather up the Kawas and the worker and just AoE them all down. And here we're coming up on the Hive Lord, 16,060 health. He's got more 4 things that he's going to do. He is a pretty damage intensive fight here. He's going to do a frontal cone slam attack, which is very hard to avoid. So if you're the tank, you need to try and face him away from the group as much as possible. He's going to periodically summon the Kamahads. They got very little health, AoE them down, get them up, nuke them. The main thing to look out for is his massive AoE attack that he does right there. It does a lot of damage to everybody. So do not stand in it if at all possible. And the longer you do stay in it, the more damage you are going to take. So just 1 or 2 pulses of it's not too bad, but anything more than that, you're really going to give your healer a very hard time. He is going to randomly jump around the different target and do physical damage to him. Not a whole lot or anything. It's nothing major to worry about. The big thing is do not stand in the AoE when he does it. Very nasty stuff. As you can tell here, first time we do this boss, we nuke him down pretty easily. There you go, he does the jump attack that I was talking about. As a healer for that fight, the big thing is just hold as much of your mana as you can for the big AoE pulses, because a lot of your group's going to take a lot of damage during that for the most part, because it's usually going to take at least 2 to 3 ticks before they manage to get out of the AoE on it. As a Templar, I just use my group heal and it'll pretty much cover anybody within a certain range. I mean, it's a great way to get your party heal back up. Save the ground AoEs for when your group runs in to fight the boss. That way you can keep them topped off for as little mana as possible. And in my case here, my ground AoE there from the restoration staff also gives me mana back the more people that are standing in it. So that tends to work out pretty good for me. We're going to jump down here, and there's a few little trash pools, and then there's a mini boss that pops up. Pretty easy, nothing to worry about, just nuke them down. The case here, we had to wait here because they forgot to talk to the NPC back before to trigger the next part of the quest chain, which continues you through the dungeon here. Just took time to clean up my inventory. After we do this trash pull, you'll see the mini bosses in the back left there. We have one more trash pull we're going to take care of here. And the mini boss, the Cavern Patriarch. She's got a giant niche. All she really does is cast a little poison AoE on the ground. Just don't stand in it. In all honesty, she's going to die so fast, there's really nothing to worry about. Just cover it again. This is the Cavern Patriarch mini boss. All she really does is cast a AoE on the ground. Just don't stand in it. You're gonna kill her so fast. There's really nothing to worry about on her. She's got a 8,030 hit points, somewhere around there. Super silly fight. Really, this boss probably should have about double the hit points. And before you take on the Sentinel here, you're gonna just clear up the trash around the area, because taking the boss and the trash at the same time could be too much for some healers, some groups. So this is going to be the Sentinel here. He's got 16,060 hit points. He's got a couple interesting mechanics, but doesn't really do much damage at all. The big thing about this guy is lots and lots of movement. You got to stay moving, got to stay moving. He does a frontal cone attack like that. Very difficult to avoid, doesn't really do a lot of damage. Just try and keep him faced away from the group. He does the AoE lightning charge there. He'll basically rain down mortars all over the group, so don't stand in them. They do get from small to larger in size. You'll take a fair amount of shark damage from him, but it's nothing huge. He does start chasing after people, and he does a spinning AoE attack. Best as possible to get out of the way, because it does do a lot of damage, as you've seen right there. One of our DPS drops down on it. Just try and run out of his range as best as possible. When he gets down to about 25% health, he's going to summon 3 or 4 of the dwarven spiders around the area, basically them green AoEs on the ground there. You want to keep him out of them, because they do heal him up. I imagine maybe a veteran version or something. He runs towards him, I don't know. You can either take him out or just ignore him like we did. Again, got to stay out of range, out of the way of that. Them AoE attacks like that, especially the charge spinning one, because it just does a lot of damage, and most of the time it's hard for your healer to keep up on top of it. One thing you won't see in the video here is there is a guy on the back door to the left there. He is trying to unlock it. If you do not attack him or do not go near him until he unlocks, it'll open the back room and you can go back in there. But most groups end up attacking him before he's got it unlocked, like we did here. He really doesn't have much hit points, super easy to kill, and it's, like I said, easy to aggro him before he's got it unlocked. In our case, we messed up there and somebody ended up aggroing him before he was done unlocking it. And this is just a mini boss here, the Cutting Spear, 8,060 hit points. Pretty easy boss. All he really does is a whirlwind attack that does AoE damage around him. You'll summon down some dwarven spider ads, kill them, kill him, nuke. Super easy boss. Shouldn't have no problems at all. And that's it for the Darkshade Caverns here. If you enjoyed the guide, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and keep checking back. I got more guides coming all the time. I got a backlog of them that I got to do voiceovers for right now. So over the next few days, you'll probably see a good 4, 5, 6 more of them pop up. So if you're running through this level range, go ahead and keep checking back for more guides. Again, if you like the channel, go ahead, hit the subscribe button below. Go ahead, like it. Give me any comments you might have, any suggestions to improve them. Again, that's Darkshade Caverns. Thanks for listening.